live. Yeah. Right. Do comments there because that's there. Banners there. Better put that one up. It's the one node. And let's go. I'm ready to rock and roll, mate. I'm ready to rock and roll as usual. Edit privacy so that folks can see it. And 6:30 on the dot. Look at us go.
All right, let's get this show on the road. It's Friday night. Everyone has got much more important stuff to do than listen to us rabbit on.
I don't know. We're a lot of fun.
Oh,
Most of the time.
So, but I'm sure other people are more interested in the footy and everything else for the weekend, having a couple of frothies and enjoying it with their friends.
Well and truly. Do you want to do your disclaimer? You better.
Okay, my name's Anthony Irvine. I'm a councillor on Temora Shire Council, but none of the views I express here are that of Temora Shire Council. They are mine and mine alone.
I'm Dean McKay, and my views are all my own, and I'm not a member of Temora Shire Council as per yet, but Christ only knows what's going to happen in a couple of weeks.
Well, there you go. The election is obviously tomorrow week, so the 14th of September. As you can see, our disclaimer authorised by Dean McKay to Temora, New South Wales 2666. That keeps us in good with our friends at the New South Wales
Electoral Commission, you know, like
ticking boxes as we go.
I think some people forget that I've had a very positive relationship with the Electoral Commission for quite a few years. This isn't my first rookie season.
Well, I've found, as we said the other day, every time I've interacted with the Electoral Commission, they really do try and help the people who are trying to help themselves. And
absolutely, and if you're proactive and you know, if there is a problem, you jump on it pretty quick.
Yeah.
So hopefully, a couple of the problems that were with local candidates not having their materials authorised correctly, or hopefully they got onto that and got that little challenge sorted.
That's right. The mayor had some electoral material that he was distributing that had your name spelt wrong.
I'll tell you what, my name is. It's like, I mean, look, and the sensitive folk will call it racist, but it's not like it's some really long 40-letter
but there's a few
Indian
different
name.
ways to spell it. And that's what
absolutely
trips people up. It's
but
not like
here's the trick, right? If it's on the Electoral Commission website,
yes, and they have published an actual copy of the ballot paper.
They do that, and you're supposed to use that as your frame for all this sort of caper. Like this isn't a riding without training wheels sort of thing. The Electoral Commission are quite good at it. They've done it before. It's not their first go either.
Well, I hope at least the mayor's he's been.
I caught it with enough time to give him fair warning.
Yes.
To let him know that he had to get in and get that changed, because I'm a fair kind of guy. I like level playing field.
Yep.
I'm not always afforded the same courtesy.
No.
But I like to be a fair guy.
Sometimes some people shoot first, second, third, fourth, and fifth before asking questions.
Well, you know, I'm quite happy.
Our little mate, the ginger jockey, propaganda.
I now know what he looks like. I
don't
know what he looks like. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing for him, but now I know who I'm dealing with.
Yes, no, well, he's an impressive human.
I can't tell you what, I've never felt so impressed in my life.
Yeah. Anyway, so you got to lay eyes on the man who has the poison pen.
The poison pen, who obviously has a dartboard with a photo of me in the middle of it.
The pen.
Well, I'll give him puppetry of the pen anyway.
There used to be a show, Puppetry of the Penis. I reckon he might.
Look, I've been accused on occasion of being a little bit too assertive, perhaps, in certain arenas. Apparently, I can be a little less than politically correct in my dealings, and I'm not going to directly make any apologies for that. I did try really hard last night to try and sort of, you know, even with everything going on, and I was like, you know, because I mean, look, I like to box if need be. I think people who deserve to get smacked need to get smacked, and I copped it on the chin when I deserved to get smacked. I think it should be a two-way street, and
no, some people don't like. If you're a bully,
bullies don't like it. They don't like it coming back.
They like giving it, and not getting it.
Well, I can live with taking it as well as I can give it. The problem I'm finding at the moment is a lot of people are offended that I'm giving it back.
Yeah,
I'm supposed to have shut up and got on my bike and hid in my cave by now. And I mean, they've been trying to do that to me for years, mate. Look,
this was the lead paragraph in Propaganda Pete's front page introduction to the Teabag event that we attended last night, which of course.
To which I thought TBEG were pretty
They did
fair
a good
balanced.
job.
They did a good job. Well done. It wasn't quite a debate. It was more of a, I don't know.
So Pete,
up to
Pete's
life
open
story.
with the organisers of tonight's Meet the Candidates meeting have called on all the candidates to remain respectful and professional. Well, you'd like that, wouldn't you?
Sounds like a go.
The call has come from the Temora Business Enterprise Group and follows a series of unsavoury social media posts and videos by candidates Irvine and McCrae.
Did he spell it right? He spelled it right.
He got it
Yeah, we're learning. Good boy.
In some of the posts, the Mayor Rick Furman has been vehemently attacked, as has this newspaper, apparently.
Apparently, bullshit. You're watching every Facebook page I put up, pal, and you're watching every video.
Yeah.
Don't pretend you're not, because that's where you're getting your photos
Yeah.
for your newspaper.
Yeah.
You're getting 80% of your stories from my Facebook page you sped.
So, never let a chance go by, I'll say, young props.
Some of the best marketing I've ever had. And look, and I am trying really, really hard to go easy. Not because I want to go easy on this bloke, but I tell you, I'm trying to be the better man.
Oh, well.
Which apparently isn't hard, but I tell you what, I'm a bit firebrand. It's part of my personality.
Oh.
I can't stop who I am, and I'm certainly not. I have no intentions of stopping who I am. But I tell you what, this guy's off his rocker, and he's well and truly out of his league.
Absolutely.
So I mean,
that's where that got to. So, TBEG will post video on their website.
Yeah.
Of all the presentations.
And apparently, I walked out of the camera. I didn't actually know that was a camera there. It looked like a drink bottle to me. So
right.
I just sort of wandered around, figuring that I had the whole stage
work in the room,
whatever you want to call it. I mean, it was really hard because I tell you what, my brain was on fire. Really wanting that. As soon as I knew that guy was in the building, I kind of want to go, right, you and I, game on, buddy. Yeah. But I thought, no, we're here to do that. And then, of course, I had to sort of wind back in my head.
And there was a number of complaints from people that said we really should have been able to ask the candidates questions.
I would have loved it. No problem.
People could have really got a better understanding. But 3 minutes for 15 candidates equals 45 minutes plus gaps, an hour for that. Start throwing questions in another hour, another hour. We'd still be there.
We'd be there, yeah. Look, and but I mean, I've said it before, so I'll say it again. Anybody who's got questions, one, I try to answer them in these videos. Any potential
and if
candidate-related questions, if you've got anything you want to ask me about policy,
our contact details are on our candidates' information on the Electoral Commission page. You can't miss it. If anyone's got any questions, ask them.
And we're certainly public enough. Absolutely.
Now, we might double down next week and throw one in maybe Tuesday night and Thursday night next week, considering it is
the election week. We'll see how we go.
The big dance is coming up.
Yeah, right.
The big GF.
The grand final. It's a bit of a worry, really.
The big GF.
I mean, I still, look.
I'm ready to go. I'm trained up.
You're trained up. You've been doing the Rocky thing. Look, I guess as far as all this sort of thing goes, I'm still a very reluctant candidate per se, but every election I've been involved in, I've been reluctantly a candidate.
Yes, but
I like to be that voice
against Michael McCormick.
Yes.
The chance of you getting elected was what?
Oh,
Snowflakes,
of course. Well, he's one of the most popularly elected blokes in the world.
This is different.
Or in the world, in the country.
This is different. You have got a chance of getting elected.
I know.
This is probably the first election you've ever run in where you've actually got a chance of getting elected. Now, that to me says, okay, Sonny.
Yeah, I know, right? But as I mentioned the other night, I think I mentioned, and I do think that this electorate is ripe for potentially rethinking the way some things are done.
Look, this
is the whole business is overall strong.
Propaganda people and the mayor are trying to put, and the others, vote for a cohesive council. Vote for, don't have change. We don't want change.
Change is scary.
Change. We can't have change. Bullshit.
I'll tell you what, out of everybody that got up and spoke last night, I reckon I could pick one or two things that each one of them came out with that I either liked or agreed with. Now, in saying that, there was probably two or three things that they come out with and I don't think that's a remit of council. No, we all know I'm a minimalist in that space.
Even to the point where we have the opportunity in the chamber to discuss that, and I'm sure with some consensus and
I expect to lose a lot of votes once I'm in that room, but I do want to be I want to be the voice. If I'm going to be in the room, I want to be the voice that says, no, we're not going to spend money on that.
Yes.
No, I'm not going to support that. No, I'm going to be voting against that. These are my reasons.
Yes. And
as I said, look, I'm a right-wing leaning libertarian. So I'm I'm all for fiscal responsibility with other people's money.
Oh,
I'm up for personal liberties. Fill your boots.
yes.
You know, look, and here's one, and I don't know, again, talking at school, people like to talk about my sex life and things all the time. You know, there's a bit of a whisper that a few of the candidates in this mix may be gay. And I don't care. Fantastic. Good for you guys.
Well,
here's what I thought about that.
Newsflash.
Yeah.
If you took a cross-section of the whole community, you would find
some of them may be gay.
Them may be gay.
I know,
so
right?
If we're going to have a representational council, odds are...
I got no issues with it. But I tell you what.
Believe it or not, I don't think that'd be the first person who's ever been gay on council.
Oh, absolutely not. But here's what I'll tell you. Even if I really like the guy or girl or whatever the case may be in any circumstance, I still won't be voting for any pro-LGBT marches, propaganda, anything like that being funded for by ratepayers. Now, I don't think council should be doing anything like that whatsoever. I don't want council doing I want all those sort of things. If you want to have I
don't believe council should be politicised in that way.
I don't think it should be politicised at all, as far as I'm concerned. And again, I'm a minimalist for council everything.
I think the ratepayers should vote for councillors that think they're going to represent their interests, and their interests need to be confined. Like, we can't stop global warming or save the whales.
No, net zero is a complete delusional fantasy.
But you know what I'm saying? So, but we can, have immediate impact on serious things that do affect them.
Excuse my hay fever, big fella. There's springtime.
We could go on about this for a while, but we've got a couple of hard-hitting things.
Yeah,
couple of real hard-hitting things to follow.
Let's do the hard hittings. Anybody who wants to ask questions, do it publicly, because I'm not afraid of answering any questions publicly. You all know that by now, surely.
Yeah. Now,
people have been watching and asking hard questions.
And we've had all these cameos from pseudo. Now, we've already had the Honourable Michael McCormick comment debunked. He's completely walked away from that, and he said that wasn't me.
Fair call.
Rick Furman's comments. The Rickster has come out and said that was not me. And the Director of Environmental Services at Council, Mr. Chris Dunstan, has come out and said that was not me. So if you are going to comment, make sure it's you.
Yes, have the balls to comment under your own name if you want to. I do everything under my own. If you're going to come gunning or in any way, shape or form, even if make sure you do it. Not,
as much as it doesn't look like it, we are serious. We are serious people.
Well, look,
we're doing serious shit.
Absolutely.
So treat it with a bit of respect.
Oh, look, people are a bit surprised that I do a bit of study of economics and fun stuff like that for a hobby, because I'm a bit weird in my spare time.
Well, let's go. Now, big news in the big space, and this is one thing we've been giving Uncle Ron Honig a bit of stick, the Minister for Local Government, about this.
For not lacing his boots, another all talk. Yeah.
Anyway, New South Wales Minister for Local Government, Ron Honig, says proposed changes to the state's Code of Conduct for elected councillors aims to repair a fundamentally broken system that currently generates thousands of trivial complaints. Well, I know of 4 trivial complaints that have gone to...
Hang on, didn't Propaganda Pete say they were serious legal matters, or was that a slightly different?
No, these were the codes of conduct.
Oh, right. So I get confused with which stick they're trying to hit you with at which time.
Spins it hard. He spins both ways.
He's right. I don't know what he does both ways, but I'll tell you what, spins definitely in the list.
Yeah, Mr. Honig today released the Councillor Conduct and Meeting Practices Framework discussion paper, published by the New South Wales Department of Planning, blah, blah, blah. The Minister says the current system was too open to weaponisation. You don't say, Ron.
Good call, Ron. Welcome to first grade, son.
Tit-for-tat complaints diverting critical council resources and ratepayer money from the things that matter most to communities. You're not joking there, Ron. I can't wait until council release the next round of Code of Conduct costs that they've incurred in the past 12 months. Now, that is due in September.
Oh, let me tell you, if I get on there, they're the sort of questions I'm going to be asking. But I want to know, I want to see it. I'm going to be absolutely going to town on it.
30 grand that they spent on Code of Conduct was Schlaka.
Yeah, well, that's nonsense. Waste of money.
Yugoslavian.
Waste of money.
But not important.
Not important. Absolute rubbish.
The sheer volume of vexatious complaints being made is preventing the Office of Local Government from focusing its attention on getting crooks out of the local government sector, said Minister Honig. Well, I would hope that one of their aims is to get the crooks out of the local government sector, and I know he's brimming with crooks at the moment. So go your hardest, Uncle Ron. He said the options presented in the 20-page discussion paper put the onus back on addressing and resolving issues of councillor misbehaviour at a local level, rather than escalating complaints for the state government or private investigators to fix. Well, I know they fix them.
I'll bet.
The fix is in.
Absolutely, absolutely.
It also puts forward options to strengthen the role of the Office of Local Government as the sector regulator. Now, I'm not 100% on that. I've had a couple of dealings with the Office of Local Government.
How'd you find that? Yeah, how'd you find that?
I found them to be absolutely disgustingly hopeless.
Yeah, right. That's
And
a
that
shame.
is, I'm not pulling punches there.
No.
They were atrocious.
Yeah, right. Fantastic.
Absolutely atrocious. They would not uphold. It was very.
Oh, mate.
I bought a complaint, a code of conduct complaint against an individual.
Right.
And they said, whilst there may be some issues to investigate there, and because the individual's no longer employed, we can't do anything about it.
Oh, yes. Is this the individual that is still employed?
No. Anyway, we'll just generalise this.
Okay, yeah, let's generalise it.
So then I provided evidence that that individual was employed. Then they just said, well, we don't want to talk to you anymore. Okay.
You were banned.
No, we'll just talk to the hand. We believe we've dealt with this to our satisfaction.
We don't like you bringing new evidence to the
We
fore
don't like you telling us that we've told you we can't investigate this because they're no longer employed, and now you've given us stuff that proves they're still employed.
Yeah, right.
So that's what sort of an organisation the OLG is.
Yeah, right.
So I'm not filled with confidence whatsoever. Anyway.
Like, they do know I'll ring them 15 times a day and annoy the
Mate,
living shit out of them if I feel the need.
I'm telling you.
I can be really annoying. If I've got a, if I'm
You're joking.
dog with
I
a
do
dog
not believe it.
dog with a bone, mate, I'll absolutely, and I'll go hard all day long.
So I'm not impressed with the idea of the OLG being the sector regulator, because I don't reckon they can regulate themselves, including expanded investigation powers for serious conflict of interest breaches and the ability to issue penalty infringement notices. Well, if they actually spend part of the $5 million that they've been given extra by the state government to actually beef up the Office of Local Government, because realistically it is 3 guys in a broom cupboard and a torch at the moment. So hopefully they actually put some sensible people in there who can do some decent work. So Ron goes on to say, for far too long the system has been abused. It's time to restore public confidence in councils and ensure the dignity of this vital third tier of government is upheld. I don't mind that sentiment, Ron.
I don't mind the sentiment.
Get the crooks out. Good start.
Sadly, though, to get to that
and
stage,
stop the abuse of the system.
To get to that stage, you've got to have a clean out.
Mate.
Has to be a clean out. That's the only way it works.
Now, Ron goes on to say there's been 4,289 code of conduct complaints against councillors lodged over the last 3 years.
289 of them would have been you, wouldn't it?
Well, 4. 4. I'm up to 4, but that's not bad first term.
Do you reckon there are any sitting there on file waiting for me just in case I get elected for day one?
No. Well, I inquired, council in the 10 years previous had not had one.
Yeah, right. So they're clearly weaponising them.
So I am a
trendsetter. You're right up there.
I'm a high achieving individual.
We know that. We know that.
Okay, now, Minister Honig said proposed reforms would streamline the current 100-page code of conduct down to 2 to 3 pages. Ron, I want to kiss you.
Yeah.
If you can take that absolute BS document that is currently the procedures for the administration of
how long is it?
100 pages.
I can cut that down in 1 page.
Ron reckons he can do it 2 to 3.
Well, I'll take that. I'm always in
that. Will do, mate.
I'm happy to be the extreme voice with the hope that they'll peg it back. If I can just peg it back, I've done my part.
So, look,
so Ron's seemingly having a bit of a crack. Well, hallelujah and hooray for you, Ron. Well done.
Look, and some of the stuff that they're
talking about. Might even let you
keep
your job.
Well, look, if he doesn't do a half-decent job, because he was one of those ones who sat there in opposition, took some pretty heavy pot shots, told everyone what he wanted to do. Now it's time.
Now it's time to pay the piper. Absolutely. Yeah.
So the types of things they're aiming to achieve from these reforms are establishing a local government privileges committee of experienced councillors with mayoral experience to assess complaints made against councillors for misbehaviour, consistent with practices in other tiers of government. Yeah, and these are in situations where the conduct doesn't meet the threshold
Right.
for police or referral to an investigative body or a
Oh,
tribunal.
yeah, if
So-
your feelings are hurt, it doesn't count.
no, but sometimes people can be playing up and they need a bit of a slap, but it's not a crime
Well, it depends on who's
under the Crimes Act.
What's your perspective of playing up,
Well,
and who decides?
this is the problem I have. I believe the mayors have got too much power now.
I think all layers of government have too
No,
much
but the
power.
mayors have got too much power, and I don't think that they actually are answerable to their council laws enough. But that's just my personal view. Anyway, removing private investigators from the conduct process while strengthening the investigative capability of the OLG to investigate and prosecute legitimate complaints. So that's a positive. Get rid of those absolute blood-sucking
Parasites.
leeches that a private investigator who are, what do they refer to them as? Independent.
You can't be
They're
independent if you're being
private
paid for
investigators
by.
being paid for by the people who bring the complaint.
That's yes. You can't do that. That's not what independence is.
No, it's not arm's length. It's not fingers length. It's not even.
We're directly paying you. We're
it's-
putting money in your bank account. This is the result we want. Get onto it.
hurry the F up.
Yes.
Guilty, and double guilty. We will pay for nothing less.
Yeah.
Failure will mean we will not pay.
Yes.
Like-
And you won't get another gig in 5 weeks' time, and the same bloke's in
tell all
trouble
our
again.
friends not to use you too.
Yes.
So
Bit of a show.
it's the most ridiculous situation you could possibly imagine. And don't tell the Code of Conduct investigators that, because they're on a good thing.
Well, they're making some good coin, I
Mate,
suspect.
they are making heavy
What do they
coin.
get paid? Do we know?
Lots. Go and look at the Code of Conduct last
Well,
30
we got
grand
30 grand last
for
year.
2 codes of conduct complaints. Allegedly.
Allegedly. Yeah, right. I love the word allegedly.
Banning private counsellor briefing sessions except in very limited circumstances. So he wants to do away with private counsellor briefing sessions. So do I. I want the public to be in the room.
Absolutely.
At all times.
Live stream the whole lot.
Strengthening lobbying guidelines. Now, this is the one where I have got issue. Giving mayors more power to expel councillors from meetings for acts of disorder and remove their entitlement to receive a fee in the month of their indiscretion. No.
Well, yeah.
What do you do when the mayor's a bully? What do you do when the mayor abuses their power?
Well, we might find out soon. We're going to have.
Well, what happens? No, this is just hypothetically.
Yeah, of course.
That just gives a potential bully
More power.
power.
So
No.
yeah, that's right.
no good. That go on,
Control mechanism. Yeah,
Red
I'm not going
pen,
to sign off on that one.
red
Fair.
pen through the line. Now, if you get elected, you can make a comment on this.
Oh, I'll make plenty of comments, I'm sure.
Even as a community member, you can make a comment. I will be making comment, Ron.
Well, ironically enough, yes, I'll make a comment regardless of whether I'm elected to anything.
Okay, so that's basically the guts of it. And I'm telling you, bring it on.
Well, let's hope Ron has
Uncle
a red
Ron.
hot crack. Good job, Ron. I'll still reserve the right to sort of
Well,
call you a spaz or a stooge if you
you
don't.
can still go through the process and then do nothing and then pat us on the head and tell us you've done something.
Well, that always worries me. That's what governments do. Whereas
Well,
I'd rather governments who work from the fact that we're going to do 2 tenths and not much. We're just here to help you facilitate your own skills and abilities and capabilities and doing the things you want to do.
don't
I
tell
can
us,
tell you what to
don't
do.
tell us we're elected officials and then don't let us actually govern.
Well, we do need far less government.
Okay, now, another big news flash. Liverpool City Council and the saga that has been going on there. So,
That's been wild.
first up, we had the press release from the Office of Local Government saying that they'd released a great big discussion paper. They were going to investigate Liverpool Council for various breaches, and they were going to delay the local government elections, appointed administrators, sit the council,
And the power-hungry mayor up there who doesn't like pork.
stand down the council, put an administrator in. Anyway, it went to the Supreme Court. It turns out that Liverpool Council lost the Supreme Court appeal.
How much would that have cost the ratepayer?
Well, costs are being discussed in the court
I bet they are.
in the next 2 weeks. So we'll know truly what those figures are within 2 to 3 weeks.
So the ratepayers and the citizens of the country lose, and the lawyers win, and everybody in between.
Well, the
has
taxpayers will be footing the bill for the state government,
of course,
and the residents and ratepayers of Liverpool
will be.
City Council will be footing the bill for Liverpool
So
City
the
Council.
same people are just paying, so the lawyers will win.
No,
So
but
that some arrogant
the state
politicians
government spreads
can
the
argue
cost
some
over the
arrogant
whole
politicians. Yeah,
The-
could be.
The Liverpool Council will just focus it on the people of
Yeah,
Liverpool.
nothing quite like socialism.
But there's been a change because Liverpool Council acting CEO Jason Breton has confirmed an election for a new council will go ahead on the 14th of September. So this is big news. New South Wales Minister for Local Government, Uncle Ron Honey, had flagged the delay of the election until a public inquiry into serious allegations of misconduct by the council was completed. However, the New South Wales government backed down from the action this afternoon, and that was yesterday afternoon this release came out.
Yeah, right.
So that's how fresh this stuff is. You won't get stuff this fresh in propaganda feast, fish and chip wrapper. Future fish and chip wrapper. And I tell you, if you like the taste of your fish and chips, don't wrap them up in that rag. They'll get a taint.
Well, it's tainted.
It'll have a taint. It'll have a taste, an aftertaste, a bad aftertaste. Well, like the bad aftertaste I get after reading some of his opinion pieces.
Well, I don't know. I don't buy the bloody thing.
Don't wrap your fish.
I get sent a few articles usually.
Your Friday.
My Friday morning's usually my phone blowing up with a heap of photos of, this is what he's called you today. This is what he said today. This is what he's done today.
So they've gone on to say for Liverpool,
what a spat.
There'll still be a public inquiry as previously announced by the minister. And Mr. Breton goes on to say the council looks forward to participating. I'm sure they do.
Oh, without a doubt.
Oh, they will just say,
gates open.
We've got nothing to hide.
Oh,
come on in.
Yeah, I don't know that's how it plays, eh?
No, anyway.
The protection rackets are strong.
Would you believe that Liverpool have engaged private contractors to conduct their local government elections?
Yeah, right.
And the estimated cost for Liverpool's local government
elections is going to hurt my head, isn't it?
1.8 million.
Yeah, right.
So, Mr. Breton states, Council always wanted to ensure the election goes ahead for two reasons.
One, we want to spend 1.2 million.
So the voters of Liverpool do not lose their voting rights, because we're all about the voters. And Council does not forfeit the 1.8 million cost of staging the poll.
Well, yeah. Right.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, well,
there's 1.8 million reasons.
A better idea. Don't spend it to start with, because that's a ridiculous amount of money to spend on counting votes. Well, you can do all this stuff digitally now.
But they've chosen not to use
the New South Wales.
They've chosen not to use the New South Wales Electoral Commission for whatever reason. I don't know.
Blockchain technology that you could arguably do all this shit from home. You'd get one vote, one person, it'd be locked in, it'd be safe as houses.
Yes, but that's very radical and very.
I know. I'm a radical guy.
So
that's how I am.
It's a win-win for the people of Liverpool, according to Mr. Breton. Anyway,
well, he's not going to come out and say we're raping the ratepayers for one.
He does go on to say, well, the article does go on to say, and this is the guts of it. On Monday, the council lost its Land and Environment Court bid to halt the public inquiry and the release of the interim report, arguing the Office of Local Government had shown bias in publishing the report and that the minister's efforts to suspend the council and delay the local election were unlawful. Well, Liverpool lost that, but they've obviously been talking quietly behind the scenes.
No, they would never be talking quietly behind
because
the scenes.
The court found there was no bias had been shown, clearing the way for the minister to progress the inquiry. So, how
you going, Howard? Good to see you in the crowd for what is it, Friday night? Friday night.
It's a big effort. It's all happening Friday nights. Anyway, so that's massive news. Obviously, if Ron wanted to be a stooge, he could really push hard and say, "You're all suspended. Yeah. You're not having an election."
Yep.
The council have said, "Look, we want to look." So they're obviously
compromised. Yeah, of course they have.
They're talking behind the scenes.
That's how deals get done.
Liverpool gets an election, and then we can have the inquiry. Whatever the inquiry
can give the people of the feigned imagination that their vote matters, and then we're going to go ahead and we're going to spend $1 billion on lawyers anyway of your money, and it'll all be all right because we'll keep our jobs and hopefully stay feathered.
Hopefully, the report, the inquiry, does turn up at least something.
Well, it has to. If it doesn't, we know it's an absolutely corrupted report.
Yeah, but
there's no way
whole process.
There is no way that any of these councils that are in such shit shows are there by accident. There is no way that there isn't a certain amount of wrongdoing. And
yes, but if they go through this investigative process and find that there's nothing to see here,
yeah,
then that just throws the OLG and the whole process
Under the bus.
Well, it's basically like penny the sky is falling. No, it's not.
Yeah.
You stupid shit. Like, you know what I mean? It will degrade it. Their reputation will be shot. They will have no credibility if they go to all this trouble, all this fanfare, and they find nothing.
Yeah.
So it'll be an interesting 6 months or 12 months at Liverpool.
Oh, it's going to be an interesting 6 to 12 months all around the country. I mean, let's look. Southern Highlands Council. They went to administration.
Was that Wingecarrby?
Wingecarby, yeah. Half the people who caused that shit show, they're back running again. Same thing as the one just above Wingecarby. I can't remember what they are. Similar caper, Central Coast. You know, it's all the same people running that were put into administration 15 minutes ago. And I mean, it does take a certain personality to want to be.
Oh, you've got to have some skin in the game
in those things, you know, like.
Anyway, so that's where we are. So
it's wild.
Ron has extracted the digit.
Yeah.
As we've asked for on this show.
Yeah, absolutely. Sure Ron must watch it.
He'd be tuning in.
He'd have to.
And I think even as part of our submissions for the Office of Local Government for the thing, I think we should probably send
just send him links to every video. Yeah, that's right.
We'll just cherry pick that one.
You go nuts, mate. We'll give you all the advice.
If you take our suggestions, you'll have half decent policy. So that's where we're at. It's Friday night. There's footy finals on. People
got stuff to do, beer to drink, girls to chase or boys to chase, depending on what they're into.
Yeah. And we've got stuff to do.
Absolutely.
So look, thanks again.
Look, it's been a pleasure. Last night, T-Big, thank you guys for being so. Yeah, I think you did really well under the circumstances. Sorry, I walked out of the camera shots, so you just have to make that up as you go along. Sorry, guys, I didn't realise that was your setup.
Pete might have
some photos or video footage he can give you or donate you. To the other candidates, as I said, look, to me, none of the political side of it's actually personal in any way, shape, or form for me. I met a couple of the candidates for the first time last night. That's great, no problem at all.
That was a good thing.
I don't have any issues working necessarily with anybody on there, but accountability is going to be huge. If I do get in there and there's a voice, if there's wrongdoing, I'm not going to be quiet.
Everyone who stood up said they want accountability and transparency, except a couple who want a cohesive council.
It's a bit of a worry.
Yeah, because I think part of
first and foremost, I just expect public officials who are taking public money, and in the event that I do this, it'll be the first time that I've ever received it. It'll be the first time after 15 years, 17, whatever it is, in the political sphere that I've ever actually accepted some sort of payment for my contribution, which is, you know, most people. I've had people yell at me going, "How can you be so opposed to the government?"
Order a new Ferrari. It's not very generous.
I don't want it to be very generous. I would expect it to stay not very generous.
We spoke about this before, but I put forward a proposal that I don't believe councillors should be paid unless they deliver a surplus.
But it depends how they deliver that surplus.
Well, it went over like a lead balloon.
I'll bet it did.
I did not get a seconder.
Oh, really? You won't have a problem getting a seconder for that, you know, if I'm in the
okay. Look,
but here's what I will say is I'll be absolutely on a mission to, you know, privatise a lot of almost everything. Anything that's a money loser currently under council. I've already spoken to some accountant friends, and we're gonna go through and dissect the budget.
Privatise a lot of stuff. They've just recently leased out the caravan parks. They don't take on taxi ranks. The only thing they want to be involved in at the moment is gym operations, apparently. But you know, but everything else they don't really want to be involved in.
Look, and I look at things like the movie theatre. You know,
that actually made a profit last month, but I think that was just because an account hadn't come in, because every month being on council, it makes a loss.
Okay, so you know, so we need to look at stuff like that. But I'll be looking at all those sort of things pretty intensely. Yeah. And again, I'll probably be depending on the makeup of the council.
The Arts Centre, the volunteers have taken on the cleaning there to cut the cost, and now all of a sudden there's no drain on the council coffers.
Well, that's, you know, I think community things should be run.
Arts Centre.
Absolutely. So look, that's how it's going to be. Even if, you know, depending on the makeup of who gets in onto this show. And I don't mean this show, I mean it's in the council show.
Oh, the big show.
The big show.
Well, the big show.
Third tier of the show.
Yeah.
But you know, look, the reality from my perspective is I'm never ever going to vote for a rate increase. I'm never going to support it. I don't care what the excuse is. No story that's ever going to have me going, yes, let's increase rates.
There's not going to be mention the cost of living crisis, and a lot of the councillors there, particularly the councillors that current councillors, none of them are doing it tough.
No.
They're all
Well, we can assume. I don't get to look in their bank accounts, but financially, I suspect they're all doing relatively well.
Yeah.
We are in a cost of living crisis. You watch the news at the moment, and people are going broke all over the place. They're getting rid of their houses. They're trying to get downsized.
All these people are a little bit
people can't
older. You
afford
imagine they'd own their own homes, and so
they're pretty close too. So, you know, I don't want any burden on the ratepayer.
no. At the moment, we need to be absolutely fiscally responsible and some.
And anything that's publicly owned must pay for itself. It has to justify its own existence, or put in the hands of somebody who wants to run it. And if it's running at a loss, well, absolutely, as far as I'm concerned, it's on the chopping block.
It is.
And day one, I'll be putting forward a motion to
reverse. We'll call you Slash.
Yeah, you could do that. Oh, Slash. Have you ever seen the Parks and Recreation show where Ron Swanson's slash it? I'll do that.
What are the slasher movies? Yeah, like the.
There's been a few of them. That'll be me going into council. Absolutely, I'll be just looking at
Freddy Krueger. Freddy Krueger.
Absolutely.
Local government.
But I want people to, if you want to run a community program, put your hand up, say you're going to volunteer, and council's job's to facilitate it by saying, we've got a hall there, go use it, no problem. Or we've got a whatever there. It's not up to council to go, we'll fund it and we'll hire a person and no. You set up your own charity, you run it your way, nothing to do with council. Our job is, as a council, is to mow the parks, make sure the sewerage is working. Fill the potholes.
Not like the teams.
No, not like the teams. Well, it's not supposed to be like the teams.
CFMEU.
Ladies and gentlemen, look, we're going to try and do probably 2 of these next week because the big game's on next week. So it'll be back to our normal Thursday nights between 7:30 and 8:39. Maybe we'll have a bang for Tuesday night as well.
There we go.
We'll see how we go. We'll see what pops up. But everyone have a great weekend.
Have a good weekend. And Uncle Ron's looking out for you.
And Uncle Dean and Uncle Anthony are going to do our little level best to hold some accountability. There's been an awful lot of supportive messages and feedback, which scares me a little bit.
You'll be right. It's the first election you've run in where you've actually got a possibility of getting elected.
Well, I'm not changing my style regardless, mate. Yeah. Michael McCormack would have been a hell of a scalp, but you've got his underling or his biggest fan, his biggest
fanboy.
Well, look, I can't imagine Michael would have anything negative to say about my debating skills for when we did do a couple of those sort of
I'll save it up for his protege, young Ricky B. Furman.
Poor old Ricky B. Furman. Leave poor Ricky alone.
Let's go.
All right, let's do it, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks very much, everyone. Appreciate your time, and we'll see you Tuesday night.